Imagine a world where seeing is no longer believing, where even video evidence, can't be trusted. That's the unsettling reality we're facing with the rise of deepfakes. Just look at the recent video that went viral, supposedly showing Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Elon Musk sharing a passionate kiss at the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral.
Oh, wow.
It seems so real, yet it was entirely fabricated using AI.
What's fascinating is how this incident reveals the power of AI to manipulate not just images, but our perception of reality. Millions were fooled. Even though upon closer inspection, there are subtle glitches in the video.
Right, like the distorted hands and inconsistencies in their appearances when they turn. But those details were easily missed in the initial shock value. Before we go any further, if you're interested in exploring the implications of deepfakes and other fascinating topics like this, make sure to subscribe. We delve into these issues, providing you with insights and perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
It's about empowering you to navigate this increasingly complex world.
Now, this wasn't just some harmless prank. This deepfake had a target, and that's where it gets really troubling.
Absolutely. Targeting a prominent female leader like Giorgia Meloni, Italy's first female prime minister, is particularly alarming. It raises concerns about the potential for deepfakes to be weaponized against women in positions of power, amplifying existing biases and undermining their authority.
It's as if the deepfake was designed to exploit the unique challenges she already faces in a male-dominated political landscape.
Precisely. And this case highlights a broader concern, the potential for deepfakes to sabotage diplomatic relations. Imagine a fabricated video showing world leaders making inflammatory remarks or engaging in inappropriate behavior. The consequences could be devastating.
It's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most significant takeaway for our listeners from this incident? What should they be thinking about when they encounter something like this online?
This incident serves as a stark reminder that we can no longer take video evidence at face value. It underscores the urgent need for critical thinking and media literacy in the digital age. We must question our assumptions and be wary of information that confirms our existing biases. If you like what you are hearing, please show us by hitting the like button below.
That's a crucial point. We need to be more discerning about the information we consume, especially in the online world.
Indeed. The Meloni Musk deepfake is a wake-up call. It demonstrates how AI-generated content can blur the lines between reality and fiction, with potentially far-reaching consequences for politics, world affairs, and even our personal lives. It's a reminder that we're entering an era where the very concept of truth is being challenged.
Exactly, and that raises the question, how do we even begin to address this? What can be done to combat the spread of deepfakes and mitigate the risks they pose?
Well, there are a few key areas where we need to focus our efforts. One is technological advancements in deepfake detection. Researchers are developing sophisticated algorithms that can analyze videos for subtle inconsistencies that might indicate manipulation.
So it's like we're in an arms race with the technology constantly trying to stay one step ahead.
In a sense, yes. But technology alone isn't enough. We also need to prioritize media literacy education. We need to equip people with the tools and knowledge to critically evaluate information, to be aware of the potential for manipulation, and to recognize the telltale signs of a deepfake.
It's about empowering people to become their own fact-checkers in a way.
Precisely. And that includes understanding how these technologies work. Deepfakes are often created using a type of artificial intelligence called generative adversarial networks, or GANs.
I've heard of GANs, but I'll admit I don't fully understand how they work. Could you break it down for us?
Certainly. Imagine two AI systems competing against each other. One system, the generator, creates the fake content, while the other, the discriminator, tries to distinguish between real and fake. They're constantly learning from each other, with the generator getting better and better at fooling the discriminator.
So it's like a constant back and forth, pushing the technology further and further.
Exactly, and that's why detection methods need to be constantly evolving as well. We need to develop more robust and adaptable algorithms that can keep pace with the rapid advancements in deepfake technology.
This all sounds pretty technical, but what about the average person who isn't a tech expert? What can they do to protect themselves from being fooled by deepfakes?
There are some practical steps everyone can take. First, be skeptical of any video that seems too sensational or too good to be true. Deepfakes often rely on shock value to go viral.
So if it immediately triggers a strong emotional reaction, that's a red flag.
It could be. Second, pay close attention to visual details. Deepfakes often have trouble accurately replicating human features, so you might notice unnatural blinking patterns blurring around the edges of the face or inconsistencies in lighting and shadows.
It's like those spot the difference puzzles, but with much higher stakes.
That's a good analogy. And third, check the source of the video. Is it coming from a reputable news outlet or a verified account on social media, or is it being shared anonymously or from a source you're not familiar with?
So essentially, it's about applying those basic principles of critical thinking to the digital world. Don't just believe everything you see. Verify your sources and be aware of your own biases.
Exactly. Media literacy is more important than ever in this age of AI-generated content. It's about being an informed and discerning consumer of information, recognizing that what we see online may not always reflect reality.
Now, we've talked a lot about the dangers of deepfakes, but I'm curious, are there any potential positive applications of this technology? Could it be used for good?
That's an important question, and the answer is yes. Deepfakes, like any technology, can be a double-edged sword. In the right hands, they have the potential to be incredibly beneficial.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give us some examples.
For instance, in the field of education, imagine creating interactive and immersive learning experiences using deepfakes. Students could have virtual conversations with historical figures or witness key events as if they were actually there.
That would definitely make history class a lot more engaging. What else?
In the entertainment industry, deepfakes could be used to enhance special effects, create more realistic virtual characters, or even bring deceased actors back to the screen for cameo appearances.
I could see how that would be appealing to audiences.
Yeah.
But of course, there are ethical considerations there, especially when it comes to using the likeness of someone who has passed away.
Absolutely. Any use of deepfakes needs to be done thoughtfully and ethically with respect for individuals and their rights.
That's a crucial point. It's not just about the technology itself, but how we choose to use it.
Exactly. Technology is a tool, and it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us as a society to determine how we want to harness its power and to establish ethical guidelines that ensure responsible use.
Now, before we delve further into the ethical implications of deepfakes, I want to pause and ask our listeners a question. Have you ever encountered a deepfake online? Did you realize it was fake right away, or were you fooled? Share your experiences in the comments below. And hey, if you're finding this conversation insightful and you're interested in hearing more about this topic, please do us a favor and hit that like button.
Yeah, your engagement really helps others discover this important topic and contribute to the conversation.
We're building a community here, a community of informed and engaged individuals who are willing to grapple with these complex issues.
Because ultimately, it's through dialogue and shared understanding that we can navigate the uncharted waters of this rapidly evolving technological landscape.
I completely agree. Now let's delve into the ethical dilemmas that deepfakes present. Where do we draw the line between creative expression and harmful manipulation? How do we balance the potential benefits of this technology with the very real risks it poses to our society?
That's a question that's been debated extensively, and there are no easy answers. On one hand, we have the potential for deepfakes to be used for entertainment purposes, for satire, for artistic expression.
Like, I could see how it could be fun to create a video of yourself singing like Beyoncé or dancing like Michael Jackson.
Right, there's a certain novelty and entertainment value to that. But then we have the darker side of deepfakes, where they're used to spread disinformation, damage reputations, or even incite violence.
And the line between those two uses can be very blurry, right? What starts as a harmless prank could easily spiral out of control.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important to have ethical guidelines in place, to have a conversation about responsible use, and to hold people accountable for the harm that deepfakes can cause.
This is where the law comes in, right? Do we need new laws to address the specific challenges posed by deepfakes? It's a complex legal landscape, and it's still evolving. Some argue that existing laws against defamation and fraud are sufficient to address the harm caused by deepfakes. Others believe we need new legislation specifically tailored to the unique challenges they present.
It's a debate that will likely continue for some time as lawmakers grapple with the complexities of this technology. But beyond the legal realm, I think it's crucial to foster a sense of individual responsibility. We need to be mindful of the potential consequences of our actions online and recognize that even seemingly harmless acts can have far-reaching impacts in the digital age.
It's like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. We all have a role to play in shaping the ethical landscape of this technology.
Precisely. It's not just about waiting for governments or tech companies to solve the problem. It's about each of us making conscious choices about how we create, share, and consume information online.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the broader societal impact of deepfakes. If we can no longer trust what we see and hear, What does that do to our faith in institutions and authority figures?
It's a profound question, and I think the answer is unsettling. Deepfakes have the potential to erode trust in everything from government and media to science and expertise. If we can't be certain of what's real, it becomes increasingly difficult to distinguish truth from falsehood, which can fuel cynicism, skepticism, and even paranoia.
It's as if the very foundation of our shared reality is being shaken. How do we rebuild trust in a world where seeing is no longer believing?
It's a monumental challenge, but not an insurmountable one. I believe the key lies in promoting media literacy, critical thinking, and a healthy dose of skepticism. We need to be more discerning about the information we consume, verify our sources, and be aware of our own biases.
It's about reclaiming our agency as information consumers, not just passively accepting what's fed to us online.
Precisely. We need to be active participants in shaping our own understanding of the world, recognizing that not everything we see or hear is necessarily true.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something practical. We've talked about the risks of deepfakes, but let's end on a note of empowerment. What are some specific tips people can use to spot a deepfake and avoid being misled?
There are a few key things to look for. First, pay attention to the eyes. Deepfakes often have trouble replicating natural blinking patterns. You might notice a character blinking too frequently or not blinking at all for extended periods.
It's like those subtle cues that we subconsciously pick up on in real-life interactions.
Exactly. Another red flag is unnatural movement or blurring around the edges of the face, particularly where it meets the neck or hair. Deepfake algorithms often struggle to seamlessly blend these areas.
So if something looks a little off, trust your instincts and investigate further. Anything else?
Listen carefully to the audio. While deepfake technology is rapidly advancing, there are often subtle inconsistencies in the voice tone or cadence that can give away a fake.
It's like those moments in a movie where the dubbing doesn't quite sync up with the actor's lips. Something just feels a little out of place.
That's a great analogy. Ultimately, spotting a deepfake is about honing your critical thinking skills, being observant, and trusting your gut instinct when something seems amiss.
Excellent advice. This has been an eye-opening exploration of the world of deepfakes. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey into the increasingly complex world of artificial intelligence and its impact on our lives. If you enjoyed this episode and found it valuable, please do us a favor and hit the like button and subscribe for more thought-provoking discussions. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay vigilant. Until next time, goodbye.